Hello there, this is Randil. Welcome again. If you are new to this channel, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please hit the subscribe button and alarm the notification bell. Then you will be notified with our latest lessons on Workbook Grade 11. In this video, we will be looking at Unit 1 Grade 11 Workbook. It's about our responsibilities. If you're a child in a family, a student of a school, and a citizen in the society, you have your own responsibilities towards the people around you and the environment. Then if you can inculcate a sense of responsibility within you, you can become a better citizen in the society. Actually, in this lesson, you will be able to learn about important information and facts about the vandalism, which is one of the most important lessons in grade 11 pupils book. You will be able to learn different words in the vocabulary of vandalism. And after that, I will give you a clear idea about the structure of a formal letter. Then you follow the structure and write a very meaningful and informative formal letter. And at the same time, in this unit, we will be looking at very important grammar part, which is the past tense. We use past tense to describe the actions, complete actions which happen in the past. Therefore, this lesson is very important. And also I have prepared already two paragraphs. One is about the English day and the other one is about annual sports meet. There are some gap filling exercises. Follow them. And my suggestion for you, first go through the video and try to understand the questions and answers. I have already completed all the activities in the Unit 1, our responsibilities in the workbook of grade 11. And also try to have a clear idea about how you can construct a meaningful paragraph about different subjects. Then once you complete watching the video, then take your workbook and try to write your own answers without looking at the video. Then once you complete your answers in the workbook, then match your answers with mine. And I am sure by the end of this process, you will have a better idea about vocabulary, different grammar rules, which you need to know within this unit. In this unit, of course, we will mainly focus on the language, the content, mechanics, and organization. These four things are very important when it comes to writing part. I think it's time to start the lesson. Since you are ready, let's get into the lesson. As I mentioned in the introduction, as a citizen in a country, or as a student in a school, or as a child in a family, we have our own responsibility towards everyone around us and everything around us. Actually, in this unit, this is the first unit, our responsibility. In this unit, as I mentioned again in the introduction, we have to learn about how we can become a successful person in the society. Then we get the education. Accordingly, we change our attitude. We improve certain skills for our survival in the society. Then we can greatly add values to the society. Here is a list of certain standard moral principles that you should include in your character. Virtue, the best behavior that you can come up with. Polite behavior, of course. And polite speech is respected by everyone. Respect elders. Respect your teachers. Discipline is the most important. There are various things come under discipline. As a citizen in our society, we have a great responsibility towards everything around us, especially avoid engaging in vandalism. Keeping the environment neat and tidy. And also remember, if you are a student in a certain school, that is your responsibility to keep your classroom and the environment around your classroom neat and tidy. I hope you have a clear idea about what we are going to do. In this lesson, you will be learning the activity and the answers. The first one, activity 1. Rewrite the following in your notebook using suitable punctuation marks and capital letters where necessary. If you have been given a note about punctuation marks and capital letters, it's the high time to go through the note now. Then after going through the note, look at this activity. The first one, I will read it for you. Excuse me, Is there a supermarket nearby? Yes, there's one close by. How do I get there? At the traffic lights, take the first left turn and go straight. This is a dialogue between A and B. So these sentences are grammatically correct, but only there are certain things, capital letters and punctuation marks are missing. Now you have to identify what are the mistakes. Then accordingly, you have to rewrite the same sentence without making any changes in words. Only change. You have to use capital letters and punctuation marks where necessary. Let's look at the answer. Here's the answer. Excuse me, this is a polite way of asking someone something. Then after that you have to use a comma. You can see a comma here. Is there a supermarket nearby? Then this is a direct question. So you have to add the punctuation mark, question mark at the end of this statement. This is an interrogative statement. Remember, after the comma, we don't use a capital letter. Therefore, I should be written in simple. Let's look at the second one. Yes. After no or yes, we use a comma. Here's the comma. And there is one close by. This is an affirmative sentence. Therefore, you have to use a full stop. We don't use a question mark because this is an affirmative sentence. There is one close by. Here, I told you already, after the comma, we don't use capital letters. Therefore, this letter is written in simple. And next one, how do I get there? How do I get there is an information question. We know already by now, after interrogative, especially information question, we have to use a question mark. Can you see the question mark here at the end of the statement? Yes. And also remember the first letter of the first word in this statement should be written in capital. You can see H in capital. Now let's look at this one. At the traffic lights, take the first left turn and go straight. This is also an affirmative statement. Therefore, you have to use the full stop here. And A is the first letter of the first word. Therefore, it should be written in capital. At the traffic lights, it is an adverbial phrase. Therefore, we have to use the comma after the adverbial phrase, and T should be written simple because we use simple letters after comma. We don't have to capitalize it. Okay, now we have already completed sub-question simple letter A under activity 2. Now let's look at the letter B. Rewrite the following in your notebook using suitable punctuation marks and capital letters where necessary. Look at this text here. I will first read it for you. Some things in life are as rewarding and fulfilling as owning a pet, whether it's a dog, cat, bird, or fish. The appeal is the same. Years of fun and unconditional love. Indeed, pets can actually satisfy many of the things people crave most. Companionship, communication, loyalty, and plenty of amusement. Perhaps that's why pets are so popular among the elderly and people who live alone as human relationships grow frail. With new technological development, the simple bond between a pet and its owner offers a refreshing and comforting experience. As you read the passage, you can see no capital letters or there is no any punctuation mark. What you have to do according to this act, you have to rewrite the following paragraph using the suitable punctuation marks and capital letters. Here's the answer. This S should be written in capital because it is the first letter of the first word of this statement. Some things in life are as rewarding and fulfilling as owning a pet, whether it is. Here you have to use an apostrophe because it is contracted into its. Therefore, apostrophe is here. A dog, cat, bird, or fish. So between dog and cat, I have to use a comma. And cat and bird also there is a comma. But here we don't have any commas. This is the end of this statement. Therefore, I have used a. Remember why I told you already in one of my previous videos how you can use punctuation marks, especially the comma. This is very important. So when you have a list of words, so to separate each word, we have to use one comma between two items in a list. Right. The appeal is the same. T should be written in capital because T is the first letter of the first word of this statement. The appeal is the same, years of fun and unconditional love, the full stop. Indeed, this is also an adverb, therefore we use a comma here. Pets can actually satisfy many of the things people crave most. And here we have a colon. Because colon is used, you need to remember the rule for colon. The use of colon. I did one video. I think you can just go back and watch that video and come back again, see how you can use the colon. We use the colon when we introduce a list of things. For an example, here, what is the list? Companionship, communication, loyalty. There are three items plus plenty of amusement. That is the fourth item in the list. Therefore, companionship, after that we have to use a comma, communication. Then to separate communication from loyalty, you have another comma, and plenty of amusement, we don't use a comma. Here, at the end of this statement, you have to use the full stop. Perhaps also one of the adverbs. Therefore, you have to use comma here. That is why pets are so popular. That is also same. That is, we contract each other. Therefore, it becomes that's. So we have to use an apostrophe here. Then why pets are so popular among the elderly and people who live alone? This is the end of the statement. To mark off the end of the statement, you have to use a full stop. In American English, we call it the period. As human relationships grow frail with the new technological development, comma, we have the simple bond between a pet and its owner offers a refreshing and comforting experience. This is the end of the statement, therefore you have to use a full stop. And remember, as A should be written in capital because that is the first letter of the first word in the statement. And also here, development, the simple bond between a pet. So here as can be taken as a subordinating conjunction. When you use subordinating conjunctions, we have two clauses, one independent clause, the other one is dependent clause. Usually here, independent clause is this one. The simple bond between a pet, its owner offers a refreshing and comforting experience. So here is the independent clause. The simple bond between a pet and its owner offers a refreshing and comforting experience. Here we have the subordinating conjunction as is connected with this one. This is dependent clause. Therefore, when we have the dependent clause at the very beginning of the statement, we have to use a comma here. So dependent clause should be separated from independent clause using a comma. I think you have a clear idea about the use of capital letters and punctuation. Let's move on to the next activity. Activity number 2. Here you can see some phrases given here for you. I will just read them for you. First one, do you like this color or would you like a different color? Question mark. This is a yes/no question. Do you need anything else, sir? Here question mark. Here also question mark. These two are yes/no questions. 750 rupees. How about the one next to the black t-shirt? It's very similar to the one you like. Next one, sure. Here it is. Next one, it's 950 rupees. Now let's look at the activity. Fill in the blanks in the following dialogue with the answers given. Here are the answers. So we have a dialogue between salesman and Mr. Pereira. Let's start reading. Salesman says, "Good afternoon, sir. May I help you?" Mr. Pereira, "Good afternoon. Can I see that shirt on the top shelf, please?" Then which one is the suitable phrase that you can use from the answers given here? So you can use sure, here it is. How much does it cost? Now he's asking how much it costs. Then you can use it is 950 rupees. Now here Mr. Pereira, 950 rupees? That's too much. Then salesman says, how about the one next to the black t-shirt? It's very similar to the one you like. Then Mr. Pereira says, that's nice. How much is it? Then the salesman says, 750 rupees. Then Mr. Pereira, that will be fine. Salesman, do you like this color or would you like a different color? That blue one is fine, says Mr. Pereira. Then salesman, do you need anything else, sir? Then Mr. Pereira says, no, that's all I want. Then you can pay at the cashier. Thank you, you're welcome. Alright, this is the end of our activity 2. Let's move on to activity 3. Imagine you are the secretary of Environmental Society of your school. You have invited the headquarters inspector of the nearest police station to speak about vandalism at your next meeting. Write a notice to inform this to the students. Include the necessary details. First, I will give the format. Then, after that, you can find out how you can construct a very meaningful and informative notice. First of all, you have to remember the format of the notice. First, you have to write notice here, then the body, then you have to write who is writing this notice and the date. So, this is the structure. If you can follow the same structure, I think you can get the marks allocated for the structure. Then notice should be written in capital. Then here is the title of the notice. Vandalism should be eradicated. This is optional. If you want, you can use the title for the notice, or if not, you can just omit. But the necessary details should be included in the body. Let's look at the first one. An awareness program on vandalism will be held on October 26th, 2023 from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the school main hall. Notice, here is the date, October 26th, 2023. And this is the time duration which the program will be conducted. At the school main hall, this is the place that they have organized this event. And what is the name of the event? An awareness program on vandalism. First of all, you can just write the name of the event here. Whatever event you have, you just write it. Then after that, you can use this one will be held, and this one is written in passive but future passive. On October 26th, when you write the date, you can use the same structure. First write the month, then you put the date, then after that you can use a comma, then the year. Then after that, from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., the event starts at 2 p.m. and ends at 4 p.m. And this is the place where you can find this event happening at the school main hall. Then you have to use a full stop here. Then you can include other necessary relevant details like the guest speaker, then the title you can indicate, and also the branch. Here is the name of the guest speaker, Mr. Subhasinger, is to deliver a valuable speech on vandalism. So you are talking about the other important information in the latter part of the notice. I will read it for you again. The guest speaker, the headquarters inspector, the Ulapitiya, Mr. Subhasinger, is to deliver a valuable speech on vandalism. You can actually use vandalism within quotation marks. It is the title of the speech. And when you request all the students to take part in this event, you can use this structure. All the students are kindly invited to this event worth taking part. Then write down the name of the person who is writing this notice, or you can just put your signature. Then put the designation, the secretary of the environmental society, and put the date on which you are writing this notice. I think you have a clear idea about how you can write a meaningful, very informative notice at the exam. Follow the same structure, follow the same format. Now let's learn about activity 4. Fill in the blanks with correct form of the words given in brackets. Beauty. Beauty is the first word in the brackets. The second word is use, long, enjoy, happy. There are 5 words in brackets. Now first we read the first statement and we'll try to understand how we can use the word that can be extracted from this word. We saw very blank flowers in Peradeniya Botanical Garden. Flowers is the noun here. Therefore, we need an adjective to qualify flowers. Beauty is not an adjective. Beauty is the noun. Therefore, we have to extract the adjective from this noun. So, the adjective is beautiful. We saw very beautiful flowers in Peradeniya Botanical Garden. Right? When you write beautiful, remember, you should write the first letter in simple. Now the second question. The speech given by the police officer was very to the students. Here we have the blank, we have the verb use. Actually here also same we have to find the adjective. The adjective should be taken out from this noun or the verb. Therefore the adjective is useful. The speech given by the police officer was very useful to the students. Now the third one. The Mahaveli is the blank river in Sri Lanka. Long is an adjective. We know in Sri Lanka the longest river is Mahaveli. Then we have to take the superlative form of this long adjective. Long is the positive adjective. Therefore, the superlative form is Longest. Remember when you use the superlative form, always use the. I read it for you. The Mahaveli is the longest river in Sri Lanka. Now read the fourth one. Our trip to Kannadiya was full of. Then the blank. Then you have the word enjoy. Here full of. Then after that we have to use a noun. Enjoy is a verb. Then what is the noun of enjoy? Enjoyment. Our trip to Kannadiya was full of enjoyment. The winner of marathon talked to the media very. Then we have the blank and the word given here happy about his victory. Happy is an adjective. Actually, he talked very happily. So we have to find the adverb. Here we have to extract the adverb. We have to just remove y or y change into I, then we use ly at the end. Then the adjective can be converted back into adverb. Happily. The answer is happily. The winner of marathon. The winner of the marathon talked to the media very happily about his victory. Now, the next activity. You plan to go on an educational tour to a historical city in Sri Lanka. Write 5 instructions you would give to the other students who will take part in this tour. They have given you one example. You must not disturb the other visitors. I will give the first one. You must not throw any garbage in the historical site. It is an instruction. You must not make fun of people. You must not do that. You must not write anything on the surface of statues at the historical sites. You must not speak to strangers. You must not hurt animals at the site. I have written 5 instructions for you. Activity 6. Read the folktale given below and answer the questions.
The Man Who Never Lied, an African folktale. Once upon a time, there lived a wise man by the name of Muhammad. He never lied. All the people in the land, even the ones who lived 20 days away, knew about him. The king heard about Muhammad and ordered his soldiers to bring him to the palace. He looked at the wise man and asked, Muhammad, is it true that you have never lied? It's true, and you will never lie in your life? I'm sure about that. Okay, tell the truth, but be careful. The lie is cunning and it gets on your tongue easily. Several days passed, and the king called Muhammad once again. There was a big crowd. The king was about to go hunting. The king held his horse by the mane. His left foot was already on the stirrup. He ordered Muhammad, Go to my summer palace and tell the queen I will be with her for lunch tomorrow. Tell her to prepare a big feast. You will have lunch with me then. Muhammad bowed down and went to the queen. Then the king laughed and said, We want to go hunting, and now Muhammad will lie to the queen. Tomorrow we will laugh on his behalf. But the wise Muhammad went to the palace and said, Maybe you should prepare a big feast for lunch tomorrow, and maybe you shouldn't. Maybe the king will come by noon, and maybe he won't. Tell me, will he come or won't he? Asked the queen. I don't know whether he puts his right foot on the stirrup or he puts his left foot on the ground after I left. Everybody waited for the king. He came the next day and said to the queen, The wise Muhammad who never lies lied to you yesterday. But the queen told him about the words of Muhammad, and the king realized that the wise man never lies and says only that which he saw with his own eyes.
Now let's look at the activity. The first one. Are these statements true or false? Indicate T or F against each statement. The first one. The name of the wise man is Muhammad. It is true. The king's right foot was already on the stirrup. It is false. The king ordered Muhammad to go hunting. It is false. The king did not go hunting although he said so to Muhammad. True. Muhammad lied to the queen about the king. False. Now the second one. Give short answers to the following questions. Who brought Muhammad to the palace? Soldiers. What was Muhammad's special quality? He never lies. Where was Muhammad ordered to go by the king? To the summer palace. Letter D. Copy the sentence which shows Muhammad obeyed the king's order. Muhammad bowed down and went to the queen. Letter E. What did the king realize at the end? The wise man Muhammad never lies. Letter F. What do the following words in bold type refer to? It refers to the lie, and you refers to the queen. Letter G. Find synonyms for the following words from the story. A large meal, feast, understood, realized. That is the end of this activity. Let's move on to the activity 7. Read the following sentences taken from the folktale. They are all in past tense. The king heard about Muhammad and ordered his soldiers to bring him to the palace. He looked at the wise man and asked. Several days passed, and the king called Muhammad once again. The king held his horse by the mane. Muhammad bowed down and went to the queen. Now, let's describe a past event held in your school. Write a paragraph including what you did on that day. There are two topics. The first one is sports meet, and the second one English day. Now I have prepared the answers for both. That means I have a paragraph about sport meet and I have another paragraph about English day. Now let's look at the first one, sports meet. All schools in Sri Lanka hold school sports meet annually. Each and every student eagerly awaits this event. Our school sports meet was held on January 5th, 2023. In the morning, we all gathered in our school playground in four different colors according to our houses on that day. First, all the students occupied their beautifully decorated houses. Next, track and field events started. Most of the students enjoyed all the running events. Some students went to see the jumping events, and a few remained at throwing event site. Everyone was overjoyed. From time to time, our chief guest gave away certificates and trophies among the winners. Then we witnessed the most exciting event, which is the March Past. They did it wonderfully. Sparrow House won the first place at the March Past event. According to the scoreboard, Sparrow House won the first place, scoring the highest marks. Finally, the chief guest delivered the speech about the importance of sports, and we all rose for the national anthem. That marked the end of our annual sports meet. For an example, at your first term, second term, or the third term end exams, you will have a small paragraph under the first paper, English. Then you can write a similar paragraph about the topic given there. And remember, you can score maximum 5 marks out of 100 marks for a question, and if you can write an answer like this. Now let's move on to the next topic, English Day. Here's the answer. English Day was held last month. It was organized by the English teachers with the assistance of the principal, and other teachers and parents helped the event in numerous ways. The Zonal Director of Education, W.H. Prandil, was the chief guest. The students from grade 6 to 13 were prepared for different English Day activities. The grade 11 students staged an English drama. The students from grade 6 to 7 delivered some speeches. The grade 10 students had a great debate. A few students recited beautiful poems. The grade 9 students sang a group song. Many students received prizes and certificates for winning English Day competitions such as creative writing, cursive writing, recitation, copywriting, dictation, and oratory. At the end of the event, the chief guest delivered a speech on the importance of learning English as a second language. The head boy of the school delivered the word of thanks. In the end, we all rose for the national anthem. Here is also same. You have a similar topic. In the first paper, you will have a question like this, and you have to form and construct a meaningful paragraph about the topic given. And according to the instructions, I used only simple past tense. Therefore, remember to read the instructions carefully. Then once you read the instructions carefully, then according to the instructions given, you have to write your paragraph accordingly. Now let's move to learn about the next activity, activity 8. Study the following pictures and write the story shown by the pictures. Use past tense. Actually, this activity also focuses on past tense. Now let's read the answer. Begin your story like this. Vimukti was walking along the road. While he was walking, he ate a banana. He threw his banana peel on the road after eating it. Suddenly, a dog appeared barking at him. He got afraid and started running back. He stepped on the banana peel that he threw a while ago and fell over. Two boys came and helped Vimukti to get up on his feet. One of the boys shoved the banana peel on the road, and Vimukti realized that it was the peel of the banana thrown by him. Vimukti was very upset about his previous action. He also seemed to write, "This answer I used only past tense." Let's move on to the next activity. Activity 9. Fill in each blank with the correct form of the verb given in brackets. Begin, have, get, forget, can't, is, gather, finish, carry, give. These are the verbs given within brackets. Now let's read the text and find out which form of the verb best fits in each blank. Yesterday, when you read yesterday, this is an adverb of time. You need to remember that all the actions here are finished in the past. Therefore, you have to use different types of past tenses. Now let's read and we'll find out which word best fits in the blank. I had a very hard day. I got up early to go shopping, but as soon as I stepped out of the door, it. Then what is the past form of begin? Began. Therefore, it began to rain. So I have, the past form of have is had. Then you can use had here in the blank. I had to go back to the house. And here it is little confusing. Remember, after to, I had to, then after this to, you have to use the bare infinitive. Then here also you have to use the bare infinitive because this bare infinitive and this bare infinitive are connected by and. Therefore, we cannot use the past form of get. Then we have to use the bare infinitive of get. The answer is get. I read it from here again. So I had to go back to the house and get my umbrella. When I got to the supermarket, I realized I then blank forget my shopping list. Now here, by the time you got to the supermarket, something happened. Therefore, in this situation, we use not past simple, we use past perfect. For the past perfect, the structure is you have to use had and the past participle form of the verb. And forget. The past participle form of forget is forgotten. Therefore, you have to use past perfect. I had forgotten my shopping list. So I, the past form of can't, you have to use couldn't. Therefore, the answer is couldn't. I read it from here again. So I couldn't remember everything I wanted to buy. The cashier, then the blank is. Then what is the past form of is? Was. The answer is was. The cashier was too busy to help him. So I gathered up is the past form of gather. A few items and we also same you have to use the past form of carry. The past form of carry is carried them to the counter. After the cashier finished. Finished is the past form of finish, billing my purchase. And he gave me the wrong change and stuffed my groceries into a small shopping cart. I was not in a good mood when I left the supermarket. And here I used sometimes past simple and only on one situation I use past perfect. Then you need to remember the difference between the past simple and past perfect. In past simple sentences, We just use the past form of the verb. But past perfect requires had and past participle form of the verb. And also one situation we use the bare infinitive because I had to. Then after to we use the bare infinitive. I think this is clear. Now let's move on to the next one. Activity 10. I read it for you. As the secretary of the Environmental Society, write a letter thanking the officer who made this speech on vandalism. Let's go to the letter. Here, when you start writing the letter, you have to write the sender's address. Don't write here the name of the sender, you just write here the address of the sender. The Environmental Society is the entity or the committee. Then Sanjana International School, Mirigama. This is the address of the sender. Then immediately after that, without leaving any gap, you have to write the date on which you are writing this letter. For an example, January 5th, then you have to use a comma 2023. When you write this section over here, remember you have to use one comma here, another comma here, then finally to end the address you have to put the period or the full stop. And here January 5th, and there should be a comma here between the date and the year, but there is no full stop. Then here, the second section, you can keep one rule gap. And here, the receiver's address. I have put here the name of the person who is receiving this letter and his title or the designation and his address, headquarters meeting. For an example, Mr. Randil, then I put the comma, the inspector after title, I put the comma again, headquarters, comma, Mirigama. To mark off the end of this receiver's address, I put the full stop or the period here. Then keep one word gap. Dear sir, this is salutation. So, dear madam or dear sir. After that, again you have to use one comma here. In this formal letter, since I am going to express my thanks and gratitude for accepting our invitation, I haven't included any title. Usually, in a formal letter, if there is a subject, of course, you can write the subject as the title of the letter. I'll read the content for you now. I am writing this letter to express our thanks and gratitude for accepting our invitation and being the guest speaker, regardless of your busy schedule of work. Your speech on vandalism was extremely useful. The students of our school gained valuable knowledge on the causes and effects of vandalism. Your suggestions, instructions, and ways to prevent vandalism in the school environment are very important. We are planning to conduct more awareness programs as per the advice of our school principal. We will kindly inform you the progress of those programs. We really enjoy your company and we hope to invite you to another event like this at the end of this first term. Then this is the ending section. Then you can write thank you. If you want, you can put an exclamation point or comma. Then yours faithfully, again comma. Then you have to put the signature or the name of the person who's writing and the title, the secretary of the Environmental Society. I think the format is very important. The language used also very important. Information is also very important. How you organize the letter is also very important. And mechanics also very important. These are the normal criteria to evaluate your writing of informal or formal letter.